What's happening, so fam? So today I'm gonna share with you a real life story here, and I'm not gonna waste much time, but I'm gonna show you the illusion of money and the duality of money in general. And hopefully it'll help you out because when it hit me, I was like, holy crap, right? So there was a time that I had a credit card and it caused me a bunch of stress. On that credit card, I literally had that much on it. Talk about angel numbers. The day I decided to get rid of this from my reality altogether. In my bank account, all right, I had maybe just over 8K. I had been trying and trying to fight this credit card over and over and over again. Over like probably I would say like 4 to 6 years. That I would pay off a little bit of it and then somehow it would raise itself again. And then I'd pay off more. And I was always in this consistent struggle fighting this vibration of debt. That vibration of debt caused me subtle stress. That debt also caused me fear. The fear and the stress would get together and they would make me anxious. So then I'm like sitting down one day and I'm like, well, if I have this much in my credit card and it's such a stressful thing and I feel like I'm paying more than I should have paid it off. I should have paid it off a while ago, but I have this much in my account. Why have I not bridged the two together and essentially paid it off, making myself feel amazing? Why didn't I do that? So what ended up making me really sit there was like, well, taking this whole entire aspect of what we're working with, right? If I were to like literally, and I'm going to erase this right here. If I were to die tomorrow, what good would any of this in my bank account be? It would eventually just equate to nothing because I can't take it with me in the afterlife, right? And I've been there, done that before. So, like, what good is this money if I'm not using it for something? What's the point of me living if I'm constantly freaking out with my sacral chakra, about debt, not feeling abundance, which causes me stress, which that affects my solar plexus chakra, that'll cause me to feel fear, which causes again messing with my root chakra. They combine, create anxiousness, goes back to my solar plexus. These two affect my mind. This one creates a level in my root chakra. This is all tied to the sacral chakra up here. So then I'm living essentially in a 3D universe in this reality right over here, right? And I'm not even looking at the transcendental qualities of what I could actually be doing with the process of death and rebirth. So instead of doing all of this, right? And I'm just going to delete it super fast. Instead of doing all of that and wondering, about stress and how to get over this, I said to myself, if I have the money sitting in the bank account and money's just an illusion, and I know that through the law of attraction, that money is essentially like water, right? It flows. I have to be in flow for money to actually step into my reality. Why don't I just take that step to take my 8K that I had in the bank and pay off the 7,038 and 77 cents that I owed in credit? Why didn't I just do that, right? That would be better. So as I'm about to do that, I literally end up hearing, I'm just gonna draw here, a guy, scary guy. And then we're just gonna go ahead and he's gonna have like these weird eyes. And we're gonna call this dude the Shadow. All right. The Shadow essentially tells me, what if you need that money later? What if you need that money later? And I was just like, well, if I need it later, it'll come to me. But yeah, but what if you need it later? You're gonna go ahead and you're gonna transfer these two and pay them out on each other. But what if you need that 8K later? Well, I mean, at one point I ended up getting to this point. Well, if I need that 8K later, I definitely have it over here altogether. So it's there, right? The moment I said that, I was like, if I die tomorrow, like both of these don't mean anything to me whatsoever. If I die tomorrow, these are non-existent in the reality of where I'm going to be stepping into when I die. So, what if is a question that not only is stuck in 3D, but doesn't account to anything if I'm living a transcendental lifestyle. If I'm an ascended being, I need to rise above. And we're gonna draw him with like some wings because he's super cute. Above the matter of this duality right here that we're experiencing. I need to walk past that. And my shadow, was like, well, why don't you go ahead, wait till tomorrow. Wait till tomorrow. If you still feel the same way tomorrow, pay it off. So I listened once. And I went ahead and I waited till tomorrow. You know what happened tomorrow? This whole entire aspect of reality that we just discussed, all this, wait till tomorrow. What if though? What if? And me going through this whole entire process. Oh my God. And then the shadow. Oh my God. And then this process. Oh my God. And I was going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Oops. Back and forth in a linear understanding in an infinite loop replay, not only internally on what to do and being trapped within linear reality, because I was literally going one way around my conscious reality, just one way. And then at times, it would also force me to exist with my shadow going in an infinite loop, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It was me having to understand that in my present moment, and we're going to just erase it, this would be my present moment in the middle of all that chaos, that I actually had the ability to make a difference. It was only in this moment right here that I could actually say, hey, what if? What if? Who cares? What if? If I die tomorrow, what if doesn't even matter anymore? And why wait? Because the more I wait, the more stress I end up feeling anyway at the end of the day. So, Shadow, I understand where you're coming from, but you really don't have anywhere to talk right now. And then I was like, at the end of the day, when all this is said and done, I'm going to go ahead and try to erase this a little bit faster. When this is all said and done, the 7K that is in the bank and and the credit card and the 8K in the credit card, they cancel each other out in any way, form, because based off of duality and polarity, I'm literally polarizing myself because I'm saying, oh, I got this money. that I have to pay off, but I don't want to pay it off, but I need the money later. So here I'm thinking this is negative, don't want this anymore. But this over here is positive because I got to keep it in the bank account anyway. If I don't have it, then I'm screwed. Got to pay attention, polarizing, polarizing, polarizing. And then it would always cause like this dumb snap where I would then feel like, okay, maybe I turned this from 7K at one moment and I got it down to 4K, but then all of a sudden something happened. So now I have to go ahead and it goes back to 7K because I felt like paying something off or buying something that I didn't need. It's a self-sabotaging belief that would again just come from the shadow who was just like, oh my God, you can't get comfortable with what we're doing right there. So when I said, this one's not real, this one's not real, what's actually real is me right now allowing myself to be polarized in any direction, believing an illusion. That's the only thing that's really causing me the biggest amount of stress. If I understand that if my perception says that I can spend that 8K to get rid of my debt, that a brand new 8K can easily come in just like water, right? I have a reservoir of water. So if I program the law of reality that I always have 8K no matter what happens in my reality, I do. I do. I can spend 8K and then easily make it right back because that's the new law of reality that I have for myself. Easily, if I've been manifesting that I don't want debt because debt makes me feel negative, right? And it's an issue in my reality, it only makes sense that I go ahead and I delete the credit, the debt, and make it 0K. And then if I say, okay, this is my new normal and that's what I'm going to keep, I always dismantle having negative debt and a polarized having to have more money. And I exist right here in the middle where I created my highest manifestation point. I ascend past this crap duality right here. Like if all this duality were just a platform, all this, I go past it and I step into a new reality. So when that kind of hit me, I was like, oh, wow, like it makes so much sense. I paid it off and I felt a huge amount of release come up. And then my shadow didn't waste any time. My shadow was like, oh, well, you still have this one other credit card over here that, you shouldn't pay that one off though. You shouldn't pay that one off because you don't want to spend the rest of the 8K that you have in the bank to just pay off all your credit cards because that wouldn't be wise and whatever. And you have to be careful because money doesn't grow on trees. That's my shadow that was programmed in matter trying to tell me that I cannot transcend whatever it is that's there. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pay off my other credit card because my shadow doesn't want me to pay off my other credit card with the rest of the money that I have. I'm going to train my shadow not to manhandle me and tell me what's really good. So I went ahead and I went, bam, I'm going to pay the other credit card, even if it makes me feel uncomfortable, just to show you what's actually real in reality. The sum of the money doesn't exist. The moment that I realized that the 8K, that the 8 and the 7, the credit and the actual bank account were essentially at a 0 because the money isn't real. And definitely the credit isn't real. This is like cyber money. It's fake. And the economy we know is not really real. My pen's freaking out, but we're going to write eco. We'll just call it eco right there. Neither one of these aspects of reality are real. The only thing that is real is the fact that I'm allowing them to hold weight on my reality in general, and for them to actually polarize me in one way, shape, or form. So it was a very powerful moment that now when my shadow tries to step in and try to make me feel like, why are you doing this? I just do it because I'm living past the illusion that's in front of me. And sure, like the world is going through some shit right now where, people are trying to be prepared for what's to come. But at the end of the day, think about it this way. If the economy crashes tomorrow, what good is that money anyway? If the world goes into a nuclear disaster, forbid it, right? But like, what good is that money anyway? So you have to shift your consciousness of like even credit and stuff like that as to energetic. And it's not saying that you're just gonna ignore something, right? But you have to be proactive. This is what creating a manifestation is. For me, my manifestation was I don't like debt. Debt bothers me. I don't want it. It causes me a lot of stress. It makes me feel like I'm not free. I owe somebody something. That doesn't make me feel abundant. In that moment when I realized debt doesn't make me feel abundant, so why am I holding myself in this neutral point between, death, between debt and trying to feel abundant, right? Like the illusion of being abundant is 3D because the amount of money and the amount of money that I owe, the amount of money that I have and the amount of money that I owe pretty much cancel themselves out anyway. So am I actually as abundant as like my 3D perception of abundance is? No, I'm not. Like my abundance is the alchemy that I have that I can create more and more and more based off of my energy signature. That's how I literally see things come in, and that's what brings me not only personal abundance and sense of like I feel fulfilled because that's a way of abundance, but also abundance in personal understanding and abundance of saying like, okay, alchemy, I know alchemy. Money is just water. Money is just energy. Abundance, wealth is just energy. All I have to do is allow my consciousness to keep rolling with that, know it, trust it, believe it, absorb this whole thing that I just went through when I was sitting in the shower, and fuck it, just do it. Live your life. That's literally all I ended up doing. And it was so powerful, and yeah, it's going to be difficult, it's going to be testing, but if you're not looking at how your reality is constantly being affected through your own thoughts and how you are constructing that reality, you're never going to actually ascend in the biggest version of self possible. This is a moment too where like a lot of people are experiencing abundance issues, or like they have to be more wiser with their abundance. One of the things I said to myself going through this whole corona gateway here is like, when I get out this gateway, I'm gonna be different. I'm not gonna be sitting here feeling the same way I was when I entered this wormhole tunnel. Like, no. One of the things that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch my entire business online because I feel a certain way. Another thing that I'm not gonna be doing as much is healing, because healing to me, it's not really a passion for me anymore. I like teaching people how to heal versus me actually healing people now because I know it so well. And the other day I was talking to my husband and I was just kind of like, man, like, have you ever had a job that when you do it, it's so easy that you just kind of lose interest in it? And he was like, yeah. He's like, well, usually when I have that job, I quit. And I was like, yeah, that's how I feel about healing. Like, it's so easy. Like, I've learned so many algorithms. So when I get out of this gateway, one of the things that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to change how often I heal, or even if I want to heal at all. One of the other things I'm going to do when I get out of this gateway is make sure that I don't have any debt. Like, I would rather come out this gateway knowing that I'm a free man, and like the illusion of the 3D doesn't have any control over me, that I'm sitting in my own power, than anything else. That's more important to me. That's me taming my shadow. That's me putting myself in the highest vibration. That's me putting myself first. And that's just me just being real. And hopefully, this vibration, if you've been stuck in something similar, it doesn't even have to be abundance. It can be, loving yourself, being in a relationship with someone, that during this quarantine, you realize that it's not working out for you anymore. Like, you need to embrace that energy and bring yourself to the highest vibration possible. This is a great energy right now for us to transcend I just want to share that. Sending you lots of love. Talk to you soon.